Hi everyone, Alex Tardy here, National Weather Service. Here's an update to the latest weather forecast for Southern California. We're going to talk about Santa Ana winds, very warm weather, even for the coast, but more cold weather. Big changes for the weekend coming up, and it looks like this type of pattern could repeat next week. This is Alex Tardy, meteorologist with National Weather Service. So here are the key points. So January was really wet. Some locations like Palomar Mountain and Ramona, top 5 wettest Januaries on record. But we remain in La Nina, the cold phase, for now 3 years in a row. The pattern has changed since the onslaught of storms back in January. So what has changed? Well, the storms are coming from the north, putting us on the dry, windy side, and that's why we're going to see Santa Ana winds weak to moderate levels on Thursday into Friday. So that means gusts 30 to 50 in the wind-prone areas. It also means really warm daytime temperatures. Warmest day looks to be Thursday, 6 to 12 degrees above average. Now the weekend is the opposite. Roller coaster, big drop in temperatures to 5 to 10 degrees below average from the coast to mountains. Precipitation looks like we'll see some arriving on Saturday, mainly late in the afternoon and evening. And then we'll see more showers continue as the storm system settles over Southern California on Sunday with much lower snow levels. So snow will be some impact over the weekend, especially Saturday night and Sunday. Cold morning low temperatures on Monday and Tuesday with weak offshore flow, though we will warm up and be dry next week. Now there's another chance for some showers and also wind for February 18th through 20th as another storm takes a similar path coming in directly from the north. So these are dry storms, and when we're on the dry, windy side, we can be really mild. When we get direct hit from these storms from the north, we can be cold and have showers. Here's some of the details. This was the weather pattern for the onslaught of storms December 27th through January 17th. This is not one storm. This is the average track of a series of storms that moved across the Pacific Ocean along that red line or the jet stream. It was anchored. It remained in place for 3 weeks. These were the atmospheric rivers that were tapped into from the tropics. 2 of them were direct hits into Southern California, January 14 and 16. If you look at the result, it was very wet the month of January. Purple shaded is 2 to 3 times wetter than normal or average. A lot of this didn't make it into the deserts, however. It remained in the mountains and coast for Southern California. Temperatures were much cooler than average as well for the month of January in Southern California. Now, if we look at the percent of average during the peak of the storms from Christmas through mid-January, really wet. Most places in California were 2 to 4 times compared to average in that period. If we look at what's most important for the water year, to date, we can see that the purple shaded areas are much wetter than average, even for the entire water year. And that extends all the way into Southern California, where a lot of places are 1.5 to 2 times wetter than average. And in fact, some of our mountain locations have now received their seasonal total of precipitation, thanks to those January storms. The snowpack is remarkable. Statewide, it's 2 times average for this date in February, but if it doesn't snow again, we're already above average for the entire season, 135% of average. This will take time, but a lot of this water will flow into our reservoirs, which have already seen significant gains. Now, what's in store for this week? Why a Santa Ana wind pattern and why mild or warm? Well, the storm track will be well to our east. So not only are we on the dry side, windy side, we're on the warm side. Upper level high pressure is allowed to build over California as shown here. But at the same time, cold air over the Great Basin and Salt Lake City produces that high pressure, so the wind blows from high to low pressure, giving us that Santa Ana wind offshore flow. What kind of wind speeds? The yellow shaded will be the most impact, between 30 and 50 mile per hour, and those are wind prone areas. But do note some of the offshore flow makes it down to Escondido, all the way to Riverside and Anaheim as well in the green shaded, gust 20 to 30 miles per hour, coming in from the northeast. Looks like the winds will be strongest during the day on Thursday, but continue Thursday night into Friday morning. Here's a look at the timing of the wind. Now, we have weak offshore flow now, and it only increases as we go through the week. So as that storm passes by to the east on Thursday, we see the Santa Ana winds pick up during the day on Thursday. They get stronger during the day on Thursday, and they make it all the way to coastal areas, even though the coast will not be strong wind. The wind continues all the way through Thursday night and really into Friday morning as well. Okay, we talked about warm temperatures. We are expecting temperatures to be anywhere from 5 to as much as 12 degrees above average. That lands some of our coastal areas in the upper 70s to low 80s on Thursday. Friday will be a little bit cooler. Most places not noticeable, a little cooler on the coast, but still above average warm day on Friday. Now, things really change over the weekend. By Saturday morning, the jet stream starts to dip into central California, as shown here. By Saturday night, it's over Southern California, and the storm system closes off or pinches off and stalls briefly over Southern California. That allows showers to continue all the way through Sunday and bring some of the coldest air of the storm right over Southern California for those lower snow levels. This is not an atmospheric river. It's not really a direct hit from a storm coming off the Pacific, but it's still a storm system and it's cold. Across the state, precipitation will not be significant, but a lot of the Sierra Nevada all the way into Southern California will see some wetting rain and mountain snow. This type of storm track tends to skip the Bay Area and even much of the LA basin. Snowfall. This will be an impact Saturday night and Sunday morning with some travel. All our mountain areas above 5,000 feet look to see 1 to 3 inches of new snow from this storm. The precipitation won't be widespread continuous. It'll come in pieces. First piece will be Saturday afternoon, second piece Saturday night, and then the showery activity, especially in San Diego County and in some of our foothill locations, will continue on Sunday. So it looks like San Diego County, which is typical in this type of pattern, will get the most precipitation overall, as shown here. Wind won't be light, but it'll be in the moderate range. Onshore westerly winds developing on Saturday. Most noticeable in our northern area, San Bernardino Mountains, and across parts of the Inland Empire, and especially through the passes. The winds will pick up on Sunday over the ocean areas. It'll be cool next week, and in some cases cold Monday morning as that storm exits, the sky clears out, weak offshore flow and dry air settles in. So a cold start to early next week as shown here. So potential for some frost across our inland valleys. Now high temperatures will rebound nicely though on Monday, especially for coast. We'll get in the upper 60s most areas. The next chance for precipitation and wind looks to be in middle of February between the 18th and 20th. Another dip in the jet stream coming from the north, so a relatively dry but cold system. It's a little uncertain on the exact path of this storm. What's shown here is the average of all potential paths. This storm could take a similar track where it goes across Lake Tahoe and then digs or carves further south into Southern California before exiting into the Rockies. The outlook for next week, it looks nice. A little bit below average because of the cool nights, but dry conditions after our Sunday storm exits. Now for the following weekend, that's that next storm potential. Looks like it could bring some precipitation to Southern California, though at this time it's looking light, and temperatures would remain below average as more cold air comes in from the north. Notice how warm and wet it could be during this period in mid-February for the Mid-Atlantic and East Coast. These are the highlights again. If you missed them the first time, take a look at those for the upcoming significant changes from warm to cold and from light wind to windy conditions, and from dry to at least some shower wet activity for Southern California. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Check weather.gov San Diego for the latest information, including advisories, including any warnings, and you can monitor the weather in real time, the rain, the wind, and the temperatures at the links provided here. Stay safe, everyone.